everyone. So today is going to be a sort of recap of some of the things that we've been going over from the beginning of the year. What I noticed is that in a lot of these drawings that you are not doing the harsh dramatics of chiaroscuro. I don't know why this is backwards, but it should be the dramatic of light and dark. And if you come into the room, why don't you say, hey, this is me. Hey, John, glad to see you. That way I know who's actually in the room right now. So like I said, I've seen some of your drawings and I'm pretty happy with what you've got. But I just wanted to show some things. So this should not be backwards. I don't know if it is actually backwards or not. Hello, Sienna. Hi, Kylie. So so I've seen Sienna's and I've seen John's. I have not seen yours yet, Kylie. And I've seen Emily's. I'm really happy with how your drawings are coming along. And this is the one thing that I want to show you is that what I did is I put a black fabric up. Hi, Isabella. And what it did is it added this really dramatic sort of contrast. You can see in this specific thing where I have my fire extinguisher, it really made it stand out because what I did is I put a black fabric behind it and it created these harsh lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some other things that we have over here. So like that little thing I just did, I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm going to be posting a video in about, I don't know, as soon as we get done with this, I'm going to post a video to show you what I mean by all this. But we remember doing this at the beginning of the year. Let me turn this light. Whoops, that's a little bit bad. There we go. In the beginning of the year, we did this step scale. And the step scale is really helpful for doing the hard darkness and lightness of what we're trying to accomplish. So what I did is I drew a coffee cup very poorly. And this coffee cup is, I used a light. So I can show you, this is the light that I have. That light, and it's really good because I can angle it. If you don't have a light like that, you can just use a simple sort of lamp that you have in your house, and that's really good to point it out. So I've seen some other students that have done that, and their drawings are coming out really, really cool because they're adding that. So what I did is up here, you can see, and I'll bring it down. I have this sort of coffee mug that I've drawn. And that coffee mug I have done in chiaroscuro. So what I've done is like the light is coming from this source. And as it comes across, it leaves these harsh shadows. And the first thing you should do when you do any of these drawings is establish the blackest blacks. So what I put here, and I know it's hard to see from where you're at, and I don't know if this is in reverse or not, but this is the blackest black. So if you do a little mini scale and you put it alongside your drawing like that, I know it's like extra work, and I doubt any of you actually have the original sort of step scale that we did in the beginning of the year. But what you can do is don't do it this big. We can do a little tiny small one. And by going 10 steps, we did 9 in class, but if you do 10 steps from black to white, that'll help you do the transition. You can move it around your drawing. So there's 4 more students that checked in. If you could just put your name in the side, this way I can keep track of who's coming in. And you could just drop a message. I'd appreciate it. And so for this, inside this coffee cup, the blackest black was right here. And then there's also like a really, really dark area down in that. So all I simply did is I established this like that. And then I have this be the darkest area. I'm going to say it in the video that I'm going to post. Hi, Cameron. Hi, Austin. Hi, Taylor. So what I'm going to show you is that in this video that I'm going to post as soon as we get done, I just didn't have time to post it up for you. You can watch it and it's real quick. It's like 5 minutes. And it'll show you how I want you to do these this shading. One thing that I think that you might be having difficulty is getting the accuracy of your shapes. And in order to improve the accuracy of the shape, what you need to do is look around the object itself and see how other shapes are interacting with it. So what I have here in this, I looked at the relationship between this box, this little cube that I created, and this little duck. And what I did is, as I was drawing it, I paid attention. What's the distance between the front of this duck to the book? Where is this brush in relation to these books that I had? So if you start creating your own parameters, meaning So I know that this, this fire extinguisher was this big, then I need to make it proportional to what this is. And if you are making these mistakes, it's okay. Remember, it's going to be very, very difficult from here on out. I don't know if we're going to be coming back this year. And so this is probably the only way I'm going to be able to keep track and help you out. So I encourage you to ask questions and, as we go along. So I've seen Cameron's drawing. I've not seen Austin's, and I've not seen Taylor's yet, nor Isabella's. But I will check them out if you sent them. I think you sent them, and I'll take a look at them. So what we're going to do is, use the proportions for everything. So this Wii remote. So when I drew, the first thing is, you remember, I drew this, and then I worked down to here, and I worked these books in, and I worked around sort of clockwise. I knew that I already had these sort of shapes established. This duck is pretty big in comparison to the remote or the Wii controller. So I made sure that I kept going back and forth, looking between the objects, and that was really, really helpful for me. So all in all, what can be helpful is, when you do this, is to establish, this doesn't want to stick. Establish a little scale. And I knew some of you did this in some other previous drawings, so that'll help you out. And then what I want you to do is just reference it. And so make sure you have a black, black, a white, white, and that you establish all of that in the drawing. Another thing I'd like to see is not to use your fingers. I know there is a tendency that you want to draw an object and you do this, and then you start shading it in, as it were, and you start blending it with your finger. And the problem with doing that is smudging, is that it gets real sloppy and your fingers get all gross. But then what ends up happening is you create like all the same sort of tone, right? And we want to have blacks, whites, and all these different grays to really make it a successful drawing. I'm really happy with what's been happening with those of you that have been turning in. If you have other friends in the class, if you can encourage them to sort of send their stuff into the Google Classroom, that way I can keep track of how we're moving forward and see how everyone is doing. Does anybody have any key questions right now? I see that there's 10 of us in here. And if you have any major questions right now, I can answer them. Or we can have a topic discussion, whatever. It's your world. I'm just teaching in it. I am kind of bummed that I don't get to see you guys every day. And it's kind of hard because I'm teaching from my secondary bedroom in my house, which is kind of stupid. But we adapt. So anybody got any questions? Nope. All right, then. So if there's no major questions going on, and I don't know if there's a delay. So if there is a delay, you can always send it to my little app, the Remind. That'll be immediate. But so far, everyone's doing a really good job. I appreciate all of you that keep checking in and signing into the class. I know it's not that easy. You got a lot of stuff going on at home. So are we supposed to add the background? So in my drawing, and I'll go back to this. Good question, Austin. All I did is I left this white around it, and I just kind of used these. This was the fabric. This was the black sheet that I put around it, and I used that to emphasize the sides of the shapes. And what I did is I left all of this negative, so you don't have to fill everything in. And I want to get back to Sienna, who had asked about some, and Dina had asked if we had to do drawing of the words in there. So like this was the label on the fire extinguisher, and I'm not going to be that meticulous and try to put all those details in. That'll take you a long time. And Sienna, what was that question? I don't quite remember if you're still in here. I don't remember what you had asked me. Something about the things in the background, or at any rate, and I'll wait for you if you ask it. So I want you to notice too is that the only areas that there are really any lines per se is maybe like this leading edge of the book and around here. But what I've done is I've allowed this sort of the negative space to create the shape. So I don't have like a hard line around this box. Rather, I have shadows and light areas that help define these sort of boundaries. Yeah, if you want to add the reflection, that'd be really, really cool. And I like how your drawing is developing. You've got this really neat shadow coming from the monster can on the back, and I really dig it. And even the like little Spyderco things, you can add some neat highlights with the eraser. So as I've done this drawing, one thing, and you can see, is that I'll go back in and I may add like erase some marks with my eraser, and that adds a like pure white, and it gives it a nice highlight. Kind of cool, gives it a neat effect. Is there anything else? Excuse me. Anything else for right now? Okay. Well, thanks for everyone for checking in. I do want to keep trying to do this every few days. I know you got other classes. If you're getting bogged down with other classwork, I understand. It's kind of hard on all of us. We're trying to accommodate and work with the school system. Right now, I'm not using Google Hangouts and Google Meet or anything like that. And I prefer this because I can see you all on my right-hand side. I see you asking questions and things. But in other classes, we may have to go over to Google Hangouts or Google Meetup. I don't know. I'm waiting for that. I got to talk to the principals and see where from there. But other than that, just stay healthy, stay safe, and I'm going to try to do this again on Monday. I want to see where the progress is. All right, everybody, take care, and I will see you hopefully before the end of the year. Bye now.